dew normally come in the morning. But one thing you must also know is that it takes time for the heaven to also gather dew, or for the heaven to also gather clouds, which some part fall as dew to us in the morning. So both the fatness of the earth and then the dew of heaven are all bounded by time. We must accept that all the minerals of this earth, the riches of this earth, are all hidden in the earth. So when we say the fatness of the earth, we are talking about a lot of riches. Think about all the metals, the precious minerals, everything is hidden in the earth. So when you are talking about the earth, you are talking about a lot of blessings. Today, we are sharing something important about the life of Esau. You know, when you talk about the life of Esau, we normally look at it one-sided. The fact that he didn't obtain the spiritual blessings. But there's an aspect of Esau's blessings that we can consider. And it boils down to a relationship that Esau had with his father Isaac. You know, throughout the scripture, you realize that fathers don't usually curse. What you see the fathers of old do is that they confer blessings upon their children in relation to the kind of honor that the children do to them. So as much as it may look like they are conferring a blessing, it also seems like some of the words are negative. Example is like the blessing that Jacob conferred upon his children in the book of Genesis 49. So fathers really will not curse you, but what you get from them, or the blessing you get from them, is as a result of how you relate with them. Now, if you look at the life of Esau, I can say from the scriptures that Esau was also blessed by his father. But the difference between the blessing of Esau and the blessing of Jacob was that Jacob received the spiritual blessing, while Esau received a physical blessing. Because when Jacob left to Laban's house, he didn't return on time, and then all the blessings was actually left in the hand of Esau. But aside that, we want to look at the blessing that Isaac, or when Esau went to his father in the book of Genesis 27, the verse 38-40, the kind of words that Isaac spoke upon the life of Esau when he went to his father crying and weeping that there is no blessing left for him and that his father should speak on his behalf. Now, these words that Isaac spoke upon Esau, I believe they are not just for Esau, but rather we must also look at it in the light that there are people who also miss the spiritual blessing or do not start life with a spiritual blessing, and they come in the faith maybe with time, or they may not even get a privilege that some people might have gotten because those people came earlier to the faith. So Jacob started with the spirit. He was very sensitive. He was able to obtain a blessing, but Esau did not start with the spirit. He wanted to satisfy his belly, so he ate more. He married from the Hivites. So you see the distinction there. Esau coming from a side where he was so physical or some way materialistic, and then Jacob coming from a side when he looks very determined, and I'm talking about spiritual tenacity to obtain the spiritual blessings from his father. So the story of Esau, I think, fits many today, many who did not begin life by the spirit, but some way, somehow, they have now come to know Christ. Now, if you look at the words that Isaac spoke on the life of Esau, it can summarize into three things. Now, the first blessing that Isaac conferred on Esau was that he is going to be defended by the fatness of the earth. Secondly, he is going to be blessed by the dew of heaven. And thirdly, he's going to live by his sword. So we see these three blessings at work in the life of Esau. Then his father came down to say that in spite of these three blessings, you have made it in such a way that you're going to serve your brother for a season. And after you have obtained a dominion, you break his yoke off your neck. So we want to look at these three blessings, and then the privileges associated with this blessing that Isaac set upon Esau when he went to him to cry for at least some words from his father, when he knew that his brother have deceived him. Now, the three blessings, the fatness of the earth, the dew of heaven, and then living by the sword, I don't think they are curses, they are blessings. They are blessings. Now, there is no blessing in this life that is not connected to the fatness of the earth. We must accept that all the minerals of this earth, the riches of this earth, are all hidden in the earth. So when we say the fatness of the earth, we are talking about a lot of riches. Think about all the metals, the precious minerals, everything is hidden in the earth. So when you are talking about the earth, you are talking about a lot of blessings. Now, but one thing you must know is that in order for you to access the fatness of the earth, you must understand that you need to go through a certain process of time before you can take it. Now, in the same way, if you really want to look at the dew of heaven, the dew of heaven is actually what supports or send down blessings from heaven onto the earth. The dew is not always there. The dew normally comes in the morning. But one thing you must also know is that it takes time for the heaven to also gather dew, or for the heaven to also gather clouds, which some part fall as dew to us in the morning. So both the fatness of the earth and then the dew of heaven are all bounded by time. Then his father says that you are going to live by the sword of your spirit. Now, the sword that you have in your hand. Now, these three blessings are validated, or they are supported, or they are brought to pass by three most important things that I want us to discuss this morning. These three blessings, they are guided by three most important keys that I want you to know. So the first one that you want to understand is that first, it takes the process of time. Secondly, it takes the patience of faith. And third, it takes the discipline of character. Now, if Esau is going to break off the yoke from his neck, he will need these three things in the light of the blessings that his father have pronounced over his life. So, for the process of time, you want to look at the blessings associated with the earth. Now, anything that you want to obtain from this earth is going to take you process, and you must accept that it's going to take time. You know, a lot of people, because of technology, wants a lot of things fast. But when it comes to life and living it, it's not instantaneous. When it comes to life and living it, it's not something that you can just wake up in the morning and then you have it. No, it's going to take time. It's going to take resources. You must put in a certain effort, you know. So the scripture says in the book of Proverbs, Ecclesiastes chapter 3, that there is time for everything. There is a season to every purpose. So we must understand that if the blessings of the earth is allocated to you, or you are working in order to access the blessing of the earth, there is an element of time that you must understand that the thing that you have started is not something because it started small, it's not going to grow. No, it will grow. Every big thing starts small. Every big tree you see in the forest was once a seed. Trees could have been easily trashed out, but because they stood at one place in the process of time and was able to endure the weather and able to endure the storm, they were able to grow and develop well. So you must understand that to everything that you want to do, there is time. So Esau had to understand. His father wanted him to understand that, look, you are going to be blessed by the fatness of the earth. But the fatness of the earth, it requires time for you to be able to access the fatness of the earth. Because even if you put in seeds in the earth, it's going to take time for that seeds to germinate, for that seeds to grow, for it to become strong. And to the time where it will bear fruit, it will always take time. So Esau, you didn't have the spiritual blessing. But for the physical blessing, you must understand that it's going to take time for you to be able to access the fatness of the earth. It's something that it must be in you, and it must be part of you. That don't hesitate to start something small. Don't look down on yourself because you are starting small. Because everything in this life started small. Think about everything that you want to know. Almost everything in this world started with an idea. It was in somebody's mind. It was in somebody's heart. Somebody took time to practice it and to bring it into fruition. If somebody had not decided that they want to practically put it onto paper and try to work it out to see how it will come out, most of the things that we see today wouldn't have been efficient the way it is. So I believe one of the blessings of Esau was for him to understand that yes, he's going to be blessed by the fatness of the earth and the dew of heaven. But then he must understand that the blessings associated with these two important words that his father spoke to him was time. So he must understand that he must work with time. You see, you must give yourself time by not rushing too much in life, but by developing yourself. It is not wrong for you to develop your roots, to show up tenderly as a plant that is coming out with the first seed leaf or the second seed leaf. It is not wrong that you must come out tenderly. And then after you have come out tenderly, you make sure that you focus on your personal growth. When a seed germinates, the most important thing is personal growth. If you touch the seed, it won't mind you. If you touch the stalk, it won't mind you. The wind will blow it, it will still stay there. The focus is that one day I'll be able to withstand all the storms and the pressures of the wind. And instead of going to respond to the wind, it's focused on developing its roots. So it's not everything that you must respond to. As I've always said, it's not every battle that you must fight. Some of them, you must just wink at it and focus and continue on developing your roots downwards so that you'll be able to build a good stalk upwards, a good stem, a good branch which can be able to what? Hold on onto fruits and be able to bear the weight of the fruits that you are going to produce in future. So it's important that we understand the blessing of Esau in the light of patience, because once you obtain the patience of heart, you'll be able to get all the blessings associated with what your father have spoken to you. And I think Esau obeyed that. Now, the second thing I want us to look at is that we must understand that apart from the process of time, there is what we call the patience of faith. The patience of faith. It is critical. Now, for you, the ability for you to be stable and wait for you to be able to produce fruit, it takes a lot of patience and it takes a lot of faith. You see, without patience, a tree cannot stay at one place for many years. It takes a lot of patience. If you see a tree that is having fruits on it, it has been patient for a very long time. It has been stable for a very long time. Patience is the ability for you to maintain the focus of growth in spite of the opposition and challenges that you are facing. It is very critical that you understand this, that you must develop patience. You see, fruitfulness must be judged in seasons. You see, your fruitfulness must be judged in seasons. Now, if there is a tree and you want to look at how fruitful that tree has become, you don't first judge the fruitfulness of that tree by the fruits that it's having. No. You begin to judge the fruitfulness of that tree at the time that it was a seed. When the seed begins to germinate, it is fruitful. When the seed that has germinated begins to develop its stem, it is fruitful. When the stem begins to develop branches, it is fruitful. When the branches begin to develop fruits, it is fruitful. So fruitfulness at each of these stages is different. You see, you can't go and look at the tree that started germinating a week ago, and because there is no fruit on it, you cut it down and destroy it. No, the farmer will still smile at the plant with one seed leaf or two seed leaf. Will still smile at it, and then be happy about it. Why? Because he see progress. So the progress that he see is fruitfulness. But he's judging the fruitfulness in the light of the stage of that particular plant. You must learn how to do that too with our lives. You must judge your progress according to the stage that you find yourself. You can't judge your progress in the light of what others have acquired, others who started ahead of you, others who have a means that you don't have, others who are coming from backgrounds that you differ from. You can't judge your progress by them. You must always judge your progress by your own self. You must judge your progress by your past. You must judge your progress by where you are coming from. You must understand that it takes patience and faith for you to be able to judge your progress by the stages that you find yourself. That yes, today I have only 1 seed leaf or 2 seed leaf, but I know that in the next 5 years, this business is going to develop fruits. In the next 10 years, this business is going to develop branches. This marriage that I've started is going to produce children. This thing that I've set my heart to do, I'm going to see increase in it. It takes patience and faith. It takes patience and faith. And then we see in the scripture that Esau, learning patience and faith, must also understand that if his father says that he's going to serve his brother, service is not just about doing menial jobs for your brother, no. But a cardinal privilege in service is learning. You see, anybody who gives himself to service is somebody who has offered himself up for learning. And whatever you learn becomes your bona fide property. It's the knowledge that you acquire through your service. It becomes a part of you. It becomes your blessing. Nobody can take that away from you. So Esau must understand that yes, your father says you are going to serve your brother, but the service you are going to serve is not a service that is maybe going to demean you, but it can be a service of learning. What did Jacob have that Esau didn't have? That his father must send Esau to go and learn from Jacob. It is his spirituality, the ability for him to discern, the ability for him to choose blessings from a curse, the ability for him to decipher between good and bad, the sensitivity of knowing that the blessing, the spiritual blessing is more important than the material things. Esau didn't have that. So your father says that, look, I have made you a servant to your brother. It doesn't mean that he's just going to do menial jobs in the house of Jacob. Did you ever hear that the children of Edom became servants in the house of Jacob? No. Or to the house of Israel? No. So what probably can the descendants of Esau learn? They can learn the spirituality of Jacob, the ability for them to discern and be able to distinguish blessings from curses. And it's important that you know that when you are offered the place to serve, you must understand that it is a place where you can learn something new. You see, what you learn in service is a defense for the liberation in future, for your own liberation in future. What you are learning today, the trade you are learning today, the school you are attending today, the business you are an apprentice today, is actually a liberation for your own future. Because everything that you acquire in the future, you are going to use it for yourself. You are not going to use it for your master. Always, the servant is at the advantageous position because you are getting something that your master already has. And if you understand that what you are going to get is more important to you, then time is not a factor. You see, time is not a factor. And even Jacob also had that attribute, the attribute of service, when he went into the house of Laban. See, when he understood that his service for 14 years was going to bring him riches, Bible said that he served it as a week. He said each of the 7 years, he served them as a week. Why? Because he saw that what he was going to obtain outweighs the years that he was going to serve. And that is what we call patience. The patience of how to undergo labor. The ability for you to know that what you are going to obtain in service outweighs the time that you are investing in. There are people who go to school for 4 years and they are going to live on that skill for the next 20 years or 25 years of their lives. There are people who become an apprentice for 3 or 4 years and they are going to live on it for the rest of their lives. So it tells you that mostly the time that you spend in service is not nowhere equated to the application of the knowledge that you have acquired in the process of learning. So once you begin to understand things in this direction, you come to the place that no, this service that I'm in for a purpose. So Isaac will not send Jacob to be a servant Isaac will not serve Esau to be a servant to Jacob for no reason. He's a spiritual man. He sent him for a purpose. That look, you are going to be defended by the dew of heaven. You are going to be defended by the fatness of the earth. But you are going to live by your sword. But you must also understand that you need to serve your brother, because there is something that your brother has that you don't have. So the stability till you attain what you have in the process of time can also be translated as an attribute of faith. You see, the fact that you were able to stay focused. In the book of Luke chapter 18, Jesus Christ speaks of a certain woman who kept on going to the house of a certain judge so that the judge will avenge the woman, and the ability, the continuation for him to keep on, for her to keep on going, was accounted to as what? Faith. You see, so the ability for you to keep on waiting for what you want. So that's why patience always works with faith, and faith always works with what? Patience. Because once you can wait, then you have faith. People who can't wait are people who can't demonstrate faith. So one of the attributes of faith is patience, the ability for you to wait. So yes, through patience, patience becomes a natural advantage when you know that your investments outweighs the privilege that you are going to obtain in future. And also, the stability that you demonstrate whilst you are waiting can also be attributed as what? Faith. It is very, very critical and very, very important that you understand this thing. So yes, Esau was blessed by his father, but his blessings requires that he understand that it will take time. And secondly, he understand that you need the patience of faith in order to see the manifestation of it. The last thing that I want to talk about is the discipline of character. The discipline of character. You know, the last thing that his father said to him was that he's going to live by his sword. He's going to live by his sword. You see, the sword for your living is for your protection and the maintenance of your self-worth and self-dignity. You see, if your father said that you're going to live by your sword, or you are going to survive by your sword. No, sword is not just for farming. Sword is also for a defense. You see, and then one of the advantages that you get from your sword is when you are able to handle your sword skillfully. You see, handle your sword skillfully. You see, every gift that you have in your hand is a sword. When the Bible says in the book of Proverbs chapter 18 that the gift of a man will bring him before great men. The gift of a man. So, and then Proverbs 22 says that, seest thou a man diligent in business, he shall come before great kings and not mean men. You see, so what am I saying? You have to sharpen your gift. You see, sharpen it until it becomes a business. And when it becomes a business, make sure that you amplify it through diligence. You see, amplify your business through diligence. So first, you are going to work on your gift till it becomes a business. Secondly, when it becomes a business, you are going to use diligence to make sure that you amplify the gift that you have, where it can bring you before great kings, giving you opportunities in this life. It is critical and it's important that you understand these things. You see, though you are at the service of your brother, I'm talking about Esau. Though Esau is at the service of his brother, he was not left to the mercies of the food basket of his brother. That's why his father said that, no, you are going to live by sword. You see, you are going to serve your brother, but it doesn't mean that you are going to feed from his table. No, you must know how to handle your sword skillfully so that you will live by your sword. It tells you that the service of Esau was not just for food. No, the service of Esau was for something greater. It was for something spiritual. Because once he has the fatness of the earth, he has the dew of the heaven, and he's able to handle his sword skillfully, he's not going to be fed by the house of Jacob. And I believe this is a lesson that we must learn as a people. That the blessing that God has given to us, or the blessing that comes upon us, especially those of us who are just joining the Christian faith, or those who are coming from backgrounds which didn't have the Christian faith and we started life before coming to Christ, just like Esau, who didn't start by the Spirit, we must also have understanding in these things so that we will not be left out as though our Father did not give us anything. No, there is a blessing upon us, but the issue is that we started without the Spirit. But we must learn how to play in the game. We must learn the technicalities of this game so that we are really and be able to provide for ourselves and live. Now, the next thing I want you to also focus on is that you must also learn how to focus on the kind of things that you eat. It's very, very important. His father said, I'm going to live by your sword. As you are not going to live from your master's table, you are going to fend for yourself. Now, fending for yourself, you must be careful of the food that you eat. And I'm talking about not just the physical food that you put into your stomach, but the food for your soul, the food in terms of even sex. It's very, very important that you be careful. It's not every food that you eat. It's not everywhere that you eat. You must make your choices very well. You see, throughout scriptures, there are people who focused on what they will eat and they lost blessings. You know, if Adam and Eve, they focused on what they eat, they lost a blessing. Gehazi focused on what he will eat, and he lost a double portion of Elijah's anointing. Jesus Christ taught us about how you can survive not only by bread that man gives you, but by also the word of God that proceed out of the mouth of God. So we must be careful. Esau needed to learn this because he has lost his spiritual blessing by reason of the food that he ate, you see, and the marriage that he went. You see, the food you eat and the marriage you go to is very, very critical and important that you look at it. You must know how to exchange food for relationships. You must learn how to exchange food for a blessing. You must learn how to exchange food for contacts. You must learn. It's not every. And if I'm talking of food, I'm not just talking about the natural food that we eat. No, I'm talking about anything that you think it can be an advantage to you, and by reason of that, you are able to sacrifice relationships. It can hurt you in future. You see, because of what you want or because of the materials that you want to acquire, you don't sacrifice relationships for those things, because those things are material, they are temporal, they'll be gone. But the spiritual blessings outweighs them all. So it's very, very, very important that you learn these things. Proverbs chapter 23 says that when you sit at meat with a king, put a knife to your throat. You don't have to eat plenty. If you read the verse 6 and 7, it talks about, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And say, eat, but his heart is not what? With thee. It tells you that you can't depend on people too much. So his father said that, yes, I've made you a servant to your brother Jacob. But you can't also depend on him too much. You must learn how to live by your sword. And so in the time of Esau's service, he's going to learn spiritual things. He doesn't have to go and put his material, the pressures of his material needs on Jacob. These are blessings that I think we should learn. We must be careful to understand these truths, and I believe that it will be a blessing to us. So the next time you go to the scriptures, I want you to go back to Genesis chapter 27 and go and read about the blessing of Esau, and listen to this message and try to relate with it. You understand that Esau was not cursed at all. There was a blessing upon his life, but the blessing of Esau requires the process of time. It requires the patience of faith, and it also requires the discipline of character. If Esau can put these three things together, his father says that he will have the dominion, and then he will break the yoke of his brother from his neck. And did it happen? Yes, it did happen. Esau was able to break the yoke from his brother's neck. When Jacob was returning from Laban's house, Esau was already blessed. He was blessed to the extent that when Jacob decided to offer him a blessing, he nearly rejected it. Why? Because he was blessed. And I believe you can also be blessed in that manner. So, beloved, I don't know the state that you find yourself in the Christian faith. What I'm sharing with you today, if you really understand it, and I pray that the Lord will enlighten the eyes of your understanding, it can guide you for the rest of your life. Yes, even those who have the spiritual blessing also needs to listen to this message and have this understanding that, look, though you have the backing of the dew of heaven, you have the backing of the fatness of the earth, you can live by the sword of your spirit. You need also to be subject yourself to service so that you can learn something that will protect your future. It is my prayer that your life will never be the same again. Listening to this message, may the Lord empower you and give you deeper understanding into the blessing of Esau. May the blessing of Esau also becomes your portion as you also embrace the blessing of Jacob. May you combine both the spiritual and the physical blessings and become the whole person that God wants you to be for your lifetime happiness. God bless you.